Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Talking Movies. My name is Josh.
I'm the Gordon's fisherman.
I'm Clay.
I can't see you. Where are you? I'm Chris.
Dude, I thought you meant me, and I was like, damn it, nothing's fixed yet. And then I'm like, oh, it's Clay in the camo.
Right.
And, well, today we're talking about Randy's pick this week. This is probably the best cops and robbers movie ever made, Michael Mann's Heat.
Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer in a Michael Mann film. Heat.
I thought you were going to say LA Takedown. I was like, let's go.
Or, LA Takedown 2.0.
Randy just watched that instead.
I did.
Yeah, he didn't even watch Heat. He was like, too long. I'm just going to watch LA Takedown.
That was his idea.
Dude, I watched two very fucking long movies this week, so I'm sure we'll talk about the other one later. But I did watch LA
Get all my
Takedown.
information ready. I'm ready, guys. Bring it on.
So
Let's
I don't
argue
even know
about
how to
this
talk
movie.
about Heat. It's like,
Well, here I'll start the conversation, and then you guys can pick up on like technical things that you liked or disliked about it. I wanted to watch it because I wanted something that was kind of ordinary, like high quality, but like ordinary. I didn't want to go with deep cuts. I didn't want to think about it, and I thought, what is a movie that I want to watch? So I had three in my head. I asked Krista which ones she hadn't seen. That was the one that I was like, as soon as she said she hadn't seen Heat, I was like, that's the one, Heat. And she watched the whole movie with me, and literally at the end of it, she goes, that was a perfect movie. And I was like, fuck yeah, and we high-fived. And it was like quite literally, like I high-fived my wife because that's high-five worthy. But I forgot how much
You guys jump into the camera after that, like Flash Gordon at the end. Yeah.
Dude, we're still in the air in there. It just paused, and we're like, but
That was
yeah, dude, it was awesome, man. I forgot how much I love this movie. Like I didn't forget how much I loved it. I forgot how freaking good every single frame of it is, man. Like there's no downtime in this movie. There is no part of this movie where you're like, well, there was this one thing happening. There's some stuff that I guess I don't know. I don't I don't know, dude. The pacing's great. There wasn't anything about it that I didn't like.
I just think that I don't want to take it away from here, but I think the women and the relationships in particular, just like Ashley Judd, I'm a huge fan of, but the other two chicks, I'm like, every time I see them on screen, I'm like, oh god.
Wait, which other two? There's just the Pacino's chick.
The wife who hates him, their relationship sucks.
Yeah.
And then the chick with the weird accent, with the curly hair, and she's
He just meets and then
Oh,
and
like
then,
yeah,
he's
De
gonna
Niro's
run
gal.
away with her. Yeah.
Oh man,
Those
I
are the only two,
love those.
minor gripes I have.
I love those characters because they're so accurately annoying. Like the woman that's mad because he's working all the time. I so understand that. And then I also understand Ashley Judd's character. I don't like her at all, but I understand her character. I think it's important to have these people that like you can see why they're making some decisions they're making based on people outside of their little circle. And I think that that's incredibly important because if I was in a crew of people, or I've been in situations where it wasn't like crime, but it was like really close people that I was with. And I got kicked out of a band because the girl I was like living with wanted to go on tour. And the only time that we could even maybe think about affording it would be, travel would be on tour. And so I was like, well, she'll work the table and it won't cost us anything. And the band basically just like imploded because of it. And like, so I understand wanting to now could it have been just as good without those characters in it? Probably. Could it have improved it? I don't know, but I don't see how it would have made it any worse. But I understand your gripe. I just don't agree with the gripe, I guess is the way to put it. But
my
like
only thing is
yeah.
when I see the one chick in particular, Pacino's wife, I'm just like, her haircut sucks. Like I
liked her haircut.
Like little stuff like that. I thought Ashley Judd is super sexy, and I think she's like kind of communicates that he's got a gambling problem and stuff. So there are plot points there for all the relationships. But I think, and there's like, they had to be in there. I'll give you that. Like, but that's just my one gripe. I'm just like,
yeah. The other one I really didn't care for was De Niro's chick. I guess she was kind of there just to like give him some extra.
Well, no, she's dude, she's so important.
Need to get out. She is. Yeah, she's
Because-
important to the story. Just because
Well,
he needs the out.
Yeah,
So
well,
he
he's the
needs a
guy that
reason-
doesn't care about anything
Yeah.
except the
Right.
fucking get. And so when he gets her in his life, I think everybody's expecting him to like go down because he went with her, and he doesn't. And it's like, oh shit! Like, how brutal is that part in the movie where she's standing there and he looks right at her and just walks off? It is like, dude, that shit is brutal to me, man. Like even I could feel Carissa be like, oh shit, and I was like, oh yeah, oh fuck.
It's
But,
funny, like he's so principled and he allows that into his life, and then it becomes
Right.
like a stumbling block, as well as like his need for revenge.
Yeah, that's
Like
that's
That's what I was fixing to get into. That's worse for him than the he was scot free, bro. Like,
Yeah.
how angry was I watching this shit? Going, man, come on! Like, this is when Robert De Niro was still fucking badass, man. I hate that guy now, but like this movie, I was like, that guy's like, he's fairly young. He's like, and looks like he's in reasonable shape. He looks like he would fuck you up. Like, he's an intimidating guy in this movie.
Yeah.
And
He's awesome in this.
yeah,
He's
dude,
amazing,
like
yeah.
I love this movie. And I mean, the only thing I don't my gripe about this movie is so stupid, but it's fucking Val Kilmer's hair, dude. Like, I can't get over it. I hate it to such a degree. And I don't like Ashley Judd's hair in this movie either. I don't like her with blonde hair. But yeah, I mean, she's very attractive as just a person. She's incredibly good looking. But like, I don't like the gold hair. It's very of its era. But Val Kilmer's hair, because it's so clearly a wig the whole damn time, and it drives me nuts, dude. I hate it so much. Is that picture y'all sent
guess so.
real with his arm?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I,
took
Ugh.
the picture right off of the movie.
Oh,
I never noticed that before.
Well, no,
I missed it in the movie.
I genuinely thought, okay, this might be like AI or something, because that's fucking gross. He's got like a little person growing off his arm. Like, what are we doing here? Like,
Yeah, so just for everybody watching, like he sits down at one point and you can see his elbow has this huge knot on it. It looks weird.
yeah,
I
it
took
looks
a
like
picture of
a
it.
baseball, dude. It's humongous.
Apparently he jumped into the crowd in the Doors movie and landed on it or something and got bursitis from it and like really screwed his arm up. Like, oh, it sucks, but shit, man.
That's crazy. Yeah, I never, as many times as I've seen this movie, don't think I ever noticed it.
I don't know if
It's
I was
wild.
told that once before, but I was watching it this time. I was like, what the hell is that? And then I and I was like, I'm not tripping like that. I see this big purple thing on his elbow. I had to take
Right.
a picture of
He's
it.
got
And I
an
was like-
elbow hemorrhoid.
I was like, well, I'll save it for the podcast and I won't tell anybody. And y'all would all be like, huh? So I sent the picture and
Dude. Yes.
poor
Pretty
guy has
nasty.
some health problems. Yeah, I guess he's, lost his ability to speak and shit. And so
Mhm.
that would suck.
Yeah, he had a rough go of it.
Definitely.
He was like a real lady getter too. Every chick I know when Top Gun came out, they're all like Val Kilmer, like
Yeah.
Well,
life.
it always strikes me as like extra messed up when somebody that's that like well off gets sick to where they can't fix it, and you're like, oh man, here's a great example of like money ain't everything, because I bet he would give up every penny he's got to just feel better and be able to talk, and like I do kind of feel for him, man. That sucks.
Yeah, it's brutal. There was a documentary that came out about him a few years back, and it went through like his whole career, but there was a bunch of footage of him now. I think his son like narrated it or something like that. It was
I
pretty.
watched that.
This is called Val. I think it was pretty good, pretty sad, and
Yeah, I might check that out. I'm interested.
yeah, he's a great actor.
Yeah.
To the De Niro point, it's funny. I was watching this and I was like, I just watched Jackie Brown like a couple weeks ago, and he's so like fat and schlubby in that movie, and I was like, what's the years on that? This is 95 and that's 97, so like pretty much right after, like he just like gains a whole bunch of weight.
Wailed out.
I mean, I guess he did that a lot, like Raging Bull and stuff, gaining and losing weight, but
I really thought
Crazy.
that this was like for him and Pacino both like the absolute pinnacle of what I knew of their careers.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
I was just like, God, these guys are so fucking cool in this movie. Like, I used to love this movie so much.
Yeah, I mean they're both at the top of their game. I mean, it was a big deal, very big deal at the time that they were doing a movie together.
Right.
Um,
It really was.
And then
Yeah.
there wasn't a really like this huge, crazy ass bank robbery like this in existence until after
Yes.
this movie inspired a bunch of crazies. They actually had like a shootout and shit, all tearing
Right.
up the streets.
Well,
Oh, you
I
mean like
mean,
in real life?
Yeah, in real life. Yeah. I think this movie was like kind of standalone in terms of violence in the streets, like with machine guns and shit.
yes.
And like nothing like that had really ever happened. And then people saw this movie and started to like,
Oh, I could do
apply it
that.
to real life. Yeah. So these two dudes held up a bank and went ham with like
I remember that.
drum clips and shit. Yeah. They said it was all heat inspired.
Was that in LA?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Dude, that shit's
Yeah.
wild, bro. That's crazy, dude.
Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I
I
like
thought
it.
you go deep into gun lore too. Like I was looking up some gun shit on
Oh, man.
on Wiki,
Oh, this is-
and they have all
Yeah.
the guns explained.
Oh yeah,
You know,
this is like the gun lovers like favorite movie. Just
There's like the
Every-
triple tap thing
yeah,
that they
everything
do.
about
Yeah.
it like you know, actual like reloading is big to gun nuts because they never put that in movies.
Right.
Apparently,
I
they,
mean, and
like,
actually, like when they're going down and shooting, and you can see all like the
Yeah.
the shell casings ejecting out and stuff like that. That you know, that's like the little things that they don't put in a lot of gun movies. And I mean,
and then
it's
like
in abundance.
like you were saying, there's like flashes on the muzzle, you know, big
Mhm.
fire flashes. I'm like, that's not you know, CGI.
Yeah, just the sounds, like all the sounds are like, I don't know if they're accurate, but they're good. Like they sound good.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I threw on all the special features before like an hour ago just to try and like get back into the movie a little bit. And there's a whole like, I don't know, like 20-30 minute video just about all the gunfire stuff. Like
I just
I mean, so they basically rehearsed everything, you know, like the whole street scene and everything. They just set it up out in fields, and they were running drills, shooting live rounds.
Wow.
They did the whole, basically all the scenes with live rounds
That's
first.
crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. They wouldn't
Yeah.
do that nowadays.
No.
Alec Baldwin
Oh,
might.
man.
No, I'm just playing.
I mean, actually, I think they, for things like John Wick, they do similar
That's
stuff.
what I was gonna think too. But I mean, it's all pretty like contained.
Yes.
You know, like target shooting and stuff like that. I mean, there's like drills and like training things you can do, but it's very contained and like super safe.
Right. Well, and like they're shooting like the main scene. They're shooting downtown LA for
Wow.
real, and apparently they had to stitch that together over like many weeks. They could only shoot on weekends for like a few hours.
Yeah.
And, but they said every scene every time they shot a scene, it was between 800 and 1,000 rounds
Golly.
every time. And they said all the noise because of all the skyscrapers and everything was just like insane. It was like
awesome.
terrifying. And I think all the sound is redone. None of it's live
Yeah, probably
recorded,
so.
but it's pretty accurate.
I know they were saying on the wiki, like the reloading that Val Kilmer does is so clean that they use it to teach classes or something.
Well, they said that in that special feature thing, that apparently in the military they show the shot of him reloading the clip, and they tell everyone, if you can't reload your clip as faster than this actor, then get out of my class.
Hell yeah.
Pretty cool.
Man, Val Kilmer's the shit.
He's awesome.
He
Dude.
is, man.
Yeah, yeah.
He's great.
I had a lot of like Grand Theft Auto vibes. Like,
Oh yeah,
Oh,
dude.
sure.
this must have inspired Grand Theft Auto. Cause just, I mean, running amok in the streets and just blasting indiscriminately, like Like I don't recall it done in a lot of movies the way it's done here.
Battering ram trucks and shit.
And I mean, yeah, and that was like the best part in the early like Grand Theft Auto days was just running around with guns and stealing cars.
Chaos.
Yeah. So yeah, it gave me a big GTA vibe.
Similar to that point, like I had forgotten how much of the beginning of Dark Knight is literally just heat.
Yeah.
Oh,
watch
dude. Yeah,
dude. I mean, I knew that. I knew that Chris Nolan loves Michael Mann and Heat's like one of his favorite movies. But rewatching that heist sequence, it's like almost exactly Heat.
Dude, I love that movie too, man. Dark Knight is like it's almost a perfect movie too, in my opinion. That movie is fucking unfuckwithable, man. I love the Dark Knight, and yes, the first time I watched it, I literally was like, "Oh shit, I like Heat too." Good job, Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, even one of the guys in the bank, he's one of the actors in this movie.
Yeah.
The guy that he tells like there's a dead man on the other end of this phone. I forget. I don't remember that.
Yeah, he's the bank teller that grabs the shotgun and gets fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's definitely like a big Heat homage.
Dude, what about the cast in this movie?
Oh yeah.
Everybody in this movie is badass. Even the guy that plays the president and then later on Allstate guy is in. He's like the cook.
Yeah.
Fucking John Voight with his terrible hair.
Oh, I love it. You know what? I could never figure out why he looks so crazy in this movie. And then in the special features, Eddie Bunker shows up, and I'm like, oh shit, he kind of looks like Eddie Bunker. Like he has that like the weird mustache and the
what's Edward Bunker doing in that?
I think he was just like a advisor or something.
Technical advisor, that makes sense.
Yeah, technical advisor because of all of his criminal background and stuff.
Dude, I was just talking about him on another podcast with the singer of Empire Down. We got to talking about books, and I brought up Edward Bunker and Dog Eat Dog. How, bro, if you like, man, yeah, dude, this could turn into a very weird conversation. Bro, this movie's so badass, and it does.
Yeah.
What year was this one, Josh?
95.
What year was Reservoir Dogs?
92, I think.
So, I would think. I don't know. I mean, I don't know that Quentin Tarantino was inspired by this at all, but like. Bro, I want to know his opinion on this movie because I just feel like this is such a Quentin Tarantino type movie. Shit, he'll probably be like, I hate it because of blah blah blah. But
no, I'm sure he's sure he's a Heat fan. I know he loves Thief. I've heard him talk about Thief before.
So good.
When they were cutting through the ceiling part, I was like, oh, this reminds me of Thief. Like when they're trying to cut into the belly of that building and hack into the PC boards and shit. Oh, so cool. I liked his friend with the satellite, the connection with all the information. The guy in the wheelchair. He's like, his house has like satellite shit all over. It's so cool.
Have you ever seen there's another Michael Mann movie called Manhunter? It's the
yes.
So he's the Red Dragon guy.
Yeah.
And I think one of the cops is Buffalo Bill, right?
Yeah, the one with the mustache. Yes. The one that gets shot at the end.
He just gets blown away.
He gets straight ragged off. Krista pointed that out. I didn't even realize that was him. She pointed it out. She was like, "Oh, it's Buffalo Bill," and I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
No, she goes, "It's the serial killer from Silence of the Lambs." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she goes, "Yeah, he's in this movie." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And I was so confused. And then she goes, "Buffalo Bill. He's one of the cops." And I was like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, "You're talking about Silence of the Lambs and serial killer." She's like, "Oh, sorry, not Anthony Hopkins." I'm like. Our communication is pretty hilarious from a different perspective, I would imagine.
Yeah. Megan watched it with me. She pointed out he's the lead detective or whatever in Monk.
Yeah, right.
Oh shit.
Yeah, she did watch Silence of the Lambs too, and like she had a mini freak out whenever I pointed out that's who that was. I mean, he's much closer to the Monk character in this. Yes. I mean, shit, he might have gotten the Monk character because of this movie. But yeah,
he played a lot of the cop characters in the 90s, I think. Going forward,
who's the dude that played Waingro? What else? He's been in something else, man.
Oh, that's one guy that I don't really know. I don't think, but
Michael
he's
Madsen.
great.
Yeah,
Huh?
Mangrove's good. Michael Madsen, isn't he?
No. Michael Madsen. No. It's Kevin Gage.
I thought he looked familiar too, but I couldn't place him in anything.
Let's see. Oh, dude, he's in Chrome Skull too. I know y'all probably don't know about that movie. That movie's shit, son.
Tom Sizemore. Tom Sizemore. That's
Tom
Sizemore. He's rad.
great.
He's rad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. This guy just plays in a bunch of shit that I like, so never mind. Bunch of really bad like B movies and shit.
The action is the juice, man.
Flames. Yeah.
Sizemore, yeah. He's actually insane.
Yeah.
I like when he's sitting at the table and he like looks at that guy. He like leans over. I was like, oh, that guy's terrifying. He's intimidating.
That's his moment in the movie. Yeah, he just gives just a cold look to this guy, and the guy just looks down.
I would have too. I'd have been like, yo, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't need to die today.
I can't hear it. I'm deaf. But yeah, man, there's so many great characters in this movie, man. Sorry.
I thought that scene was a little odd, but it worked. I mean, it was fine. But I'm like, man, they're getting rough with this dude in the diner. Like, you don't want to give away your. And then they're going to just shoot him out back. They like pop the trunk and the thing's lined with.
That shit was awesome.
Bags.
Right.
Like, bang. They're ready to party right in the parking lot. Like,
yeah, it's really like don't fuck with these guys moment. You know, they mean business.
Yeah, and then they'll just disappear. They don't care. They'll just take him out and then poof, they're out of there.
Yeah, he just ends up in a fucking dump somewhere. Hey, even the guy that Pacino's gal is banging out, he ended up being not Pacino.
Yeah, he's Waingro in LA Takedown.
No, I was thinking of I'm thinking of the wrong guy. The guy that actually Judd was banging out. He's in this. He does voices in The Simpsons.
Yeah,
he's
Hank
a stand-up
Azaria
comic. Yeah, Hank Azaria. Thank you.
Yeah.
Dude, everybody in this movie is somebody I've heard of from something else. It's really fucking weird. Natalie Portman, like
Henry Rollins.
Yeah,
right.
Henry Rollins looks like a bigger douche than he looks like now. I hate that guy.
Mr. Neck.
He showed up in
Mr. Neck.
So much weird stuff in the 90s, like this and
him and his big butt chin.
And he was just all over the place. He was
really just average in this, I think.
Oh,
he's never been a great actor, but in this one in particular, I was like, this guy just looks like a dumbass.
You know, they have him in that apartment and they're like making him basically give up his buddy or whatever. I kept thinking for some reason, like, oh, is he gonna just jump over the balcony and kill himself so he doesn't give his buddy up? And I'm like, oh no, he's just an asshole. He's just a squealer. I was like, it'd be so much cooler if he just jumped off the balcony. Like, I don't know. It's a fucking movie, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, he was just kind of the meathead muscle guy and a rat. So
yeah.
It was just the coolest thing when I was young to think like you could steal a little envelope and it'd be worth like, I don't know, $15 million. What was the purse on the envelope?
Oh, you mean the bearer bonds?
Yeah, what were the bearer bonds worth?
But they had a bunch of them, right?
Yeah. Anyway,
I don't know.
I don't remember. Yeah.
I don't even understand. I don't understand bearer bonds, but that's been a common thing in movies like this where they go after bearer bonds for some reason. I don't really know much about that stuff.
They're not.
It could be like a big Western thing too, like old school, old world like, America.
Yeah. Like a bond has to be registered to a person, right? So the person's name is on the front of it. Well, a bearer bond is owned by the bearer of the bond. So whoever actually has them in their hand is the person who owns it, right? They're not registered to anybody. Mm-hmm. So like big cartels would just pile suitcases full of these bonds. Like one bond's like $10,000. So you get a stack of these son of a gun. You like slap them in a suitcase. You got like $50 million.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. That explains that more now. That's crazy.
Yeah. That's why they were made illegal, because people could just stash them in a suitcase, hop on a plane and bing, bang, boom.
Right.
Well, like John Voight tells him, he's like, yeah, we're going to sell these back to him. Like he got his insurance covers it. He's going to buy them back to us for like 60 cents on the dollar. We're going to make all this money and he's going to make an extra 40%. And he's like, it's a win-win-win. And all I could think of was like, yes, bro, if I could do business like that, I would absolutely do shit like that. I have no moral issue with stealing fucking millions of dollars from rich people. I don't give a
I
shit.
think the last one they were stealing was like $12 million or some
Good
shit. Like the
grief.
last score at the bank was going to
Yeah.
be 12 million. It was like 3 apiece or some shit. I mean,
Woo!
it was just a ton of money.
Dude, when they get those bags and he flips it over with the money in it, I was like, all I could think of was like how bad my shoulders would hurt after carrying that bag outside. I'm like, man, it's like 2 Parkers in that bag. Fucking, oh god, carrying it. Yeah, man, that movie was a lot of fun, dude. I'm glad I picked it out to watch because it was like well paced enough to where it didn't feel like it was 2.5 hours, but it was definitely a long movie.
Oh, it's 2 hours and 50 minutes, sir.
Okay,
50?
3 hours, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But-
10. Yeah, it's just short of 3 hours.
It just didn't feel like it was like it wasn't like a heavyweight 3-hour movie, man. Where there's a bunch of drag in it and stuff because
Yeah,
some of those long movies, even when they're good, are still like, oh fuck, dude, it's hard to get through it. But it was nice to see Carissa enjoy it too. It's hard to find a movie that she's gonna just outright love. She's also a lot indifferent on a lot of these things. She's like, yeah, I'll take it or leave it when I either get excited or I hate something. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had like 4 or 5 badass scenes in it. I mean, you just, pile them in there.
I really enjoyed De Niro talking to Ashley Judd. How he's like, you're gonna go give him another chance. And she's like, I don't want to. He's like, I'm not asking you if you want to. Like, I'm telling you. And then he's like, look, if he fucks around, I will put you up in a place myself. And then she's like, oh, I guess if I don't have much else to lose. And I'm thinking like, because it's like people make really stupid decisions sometimes. And I'm not saying that Val Kilmer wasn't also making really stupid decisions, but like if you hastily leave somebody that you care about, sometimes you regret that shit. And I think Robert De Niro was looking at it from like multiple different angles. Like, we got to make sure he's good because we have a job coming up. And he's also like, I think you're also making a real dumb decision here. You got this guy who's providing for you, whether it's, I don't know. He had a gambling problem. That's never good. So I don't know. I'm probably just romanticizing the whole thing too much.
He was a
She
mess.
knows all about that shit, though.
Yeah. I just like how all the characters are basically like different facets of the same person. Like every choice you could possibly make is kind of illustrated. If you I love when he goes to sleep at De Niro's house and he's like, you got to get some furniture. Like you're just sleeping on the floor.
He's got nothing in his
Because he's
apartment.
got nothing. Because he's ready to pick up and leave at the drop of a hat.
Hell yeah.
He's not attached. And Val Kilmer's the opposite. He's the wife wants the pool and all the fancy stuff, and he's tied down.
What does he
to
say
all of
about
it.
her? He says something about her like, man, she makes the earth move or something. He says something like kind of nice about her, and you could just tell De Niro was like, fuck.
Right. He's tied up. Yeah.
Dude, whenever he meets what's her name? Edie or Eiley or Edie. Whenever he meets
Yeah.
Edie, I like her name too, man. And I also think she's incredibly pretty. So like, to teach their own. We all like what we like. But like when he's like really rude to her, I was like, man, I've been like that to people before where I had to be like, shit, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to be a dickhead. I just didn't know why you were talking to me or something. But like,
Well, it's weird. Like, why she's the one that starts talking to him, right? And then
he thinks that she's there to like check in on him, and she thinks she's
right.
a cop.
No, of course he's suspicious, but it's weird that she's just like,
She followed him from she worked at a bookstore or whatever.
right.
She followed him to the restaurant he was going to.
No, she was just happened to be there. He was reading, and she just happened to sit down next to him, and she's like, "Oh, I recognize this guy." So she's like, "What are you reading?" Like
Right.
I've done that before too, where I see somebody I've seen a whole bunch, like at Alamo a lot specifically. I'd be like, "Oh, what's up, man? What are you reading?" To people I didn't even know, but I've seen them there a few times. But like, I don't know.
But then he's a dick to her, and then she still is like,
Well, she's like, well, no, if you don't want to talk to me, it's fine. He's like, no, I'm sorry. And I think she even says it in the movie. She's like, I get lonely. And you're like, oh, I understand why she's doing what she's doing. She
Right.
says it. She gets lonely. So like, I think every question is pretty much answered. It may not be the answer we want, but there's answers there.
yeah, I think basically every character is pretty fleshed out. Like that's why the movie's so long, because they go through and really like they invest you in every single person. Even I forget.
Portman.
Well, yeah, Natalie Portman. I was gonna say the guy you mentioned earlier, that No, the Allstate guy.
Oh yeah. Dude ends up being
His whole story is like trying to become reformed, and then the moment he goes back to it, he's in and out. You know, he's dead immediately.
Yeah,
So-
well, he's getting treated like shit at the. I mean, because he was just out of jail, right? So he had this
Right.
job set up after jail, and they were treating him like shit.
Oh,
so,
dude said
of course,
20%
when De Niro
gets kicked back
came-
to me.
Yeah,
Bro.
Yeah.
20% of your take home gets kicked back to me. He's like, that's just the way it is. You don't like it, you go back to jail. I'm like, fuck, bro.
yeah.
And those kind of bastards exist too, man. People that behave that way.
Well, I'm sure they're probably just taking advantage of somebody that's fresh out of prison too.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Much less just probably just being a dick in general. But yeah, so when De Niro comes calling, he's ready to go.
Right.
Hell yeah.
Well, that's what it illustrates one of the reasons that people become career criminals, right? Because they don't know. I mean, they say it in the documentary thing I was watching too. They were like, they talked to a bunch of criminals while they were getting ready to make the movie, and they're like, "Why did you keep doing it?" It was like, "This is my job. Like, this is all I know how to do." And if you try and reform, nobody wants you to reform. You
No,
try
they
and do the
don't.
right thing, and if you're labeled as a criminal, then you're gonna get treated like shit.
I thought
And you can't even get a good
Sizemore-
job.
Yeah, I thought Sizemore was like, to that degree, a career criminal too, because they talked about his rap sheet. I wrote it down just because I was
Right.
like, damn, this guy's nuts. 33 busts, 11 armed robberies, 3 convictions. So he went to prison 3 times. And I'm like, he's the freaking psycho. And he was sort of the character that I liked and identified with, because I could see myself being just like all about the business. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
Like,
he says it. He
The
says
action
it-
is the juice.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
says at one point he's all about the action.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
because they
would
asked
be
him.
me.
He's like, De Niro's like, "Hey, man, you're set up. You got property, you got money," and he's like, "Yeah, but I like this, man." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, don't that means, hey, I'm dying soon, man." Like,
Of course. Yeah.
he's a fucking.
I mean, I
cowboy, dude.
even like Danny Trejo in this. Like, he gets a
Yeah.
little more to do than he normally does. That scene at the end with him when
He
he's
was the
all like
lover.
shot up and like his face is all screwed up.
Oh, man.
That's one of the like most gnarly parts.
Well, when they ask
scenes in
him,
the
like,
movie, man.
he's like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna call an ambulance." And he's like, "No, man, he's like, I don't have my lady no more, man. I don't got nothing to live for." He's like, "Dude, don't leave me like this, please." I was like, I damn near cried, bro. I was like, if I was in that position, I'd be like, just blow my brains out, man. I don't
It's
want to be
really
here.
emotional. It's gnarly.
Because they were friends too, and he betrayed De Niro, didn't he?
Well,
He
they
didn't remember. Yeah.
He was forced to.
they
Yeah, he
broke
was
in
forced
and
to.
they tortured him. Yeah.
Fuck, dude. Yeah, this movie's tough, man. There's a lot of like stuff that's like implied more so than shown on screen. That's real rough. Like that scene specifically.
Yeah.
Natalie Portman's scene is implied. She's in that bathtub with the bloody water, and you're like, oh shit. And then you're like that. You don't even see her dad in this movie, and you already hate the motherfucker, man. Like,
yeah.
That
Mhm.
scene used to mess me up pretty bad. I was
Yo.
always like, man.
what? I think I
Sucks.
wrote a couple of things down. Hold on, I forgot about this. Okay, yeah, I just completely forgot. No way you could walk through a hospital like De Niro did in the beginning of this movie, bro. He just walks in a hospital and starts walking around, and then just walks out the fucking doors and grabs an ambulance. Like, maybe you could physically walk through the hospital, but you would get stopped so many times. Sir, what are you doing over here? Sir, who are you? Sir.
The doors wouldn't open. Yeah.
Yeah, later when he breaks into the hotel too, like he just kind of waltzes in and like he picks up the phone and he gets the guy's room number and waltzes right up and like
Honestly, though, I feel like that might actually be something you could accomplish. Like, hotel people, man, they don't give a fuck, dude. They don't want to be there. They don't care. What are you doing? Your room service? Sure, buddy, whatever. He's like, this BOT's got sent to the wrong room. I mean, if you called me and asked me that, I was at a front desk of a hotel that large, I wouldn't even care. I'd be like, yeah, sure, dude. It's number whatever. Like,
Right. A lot of
but,
it's just having confidence and like acting like you belong
Right.
there. And if you can get away with a lot, I think if you can pull that off.
So,
Social engineering.
right, dude, 100%. I'm pretty good at stuff like that because I don't have any shame. So I'll go and embarrass myself just to accomplish something. I mean, I have. That's my ability is to manipulate situations. I'm fucking good at it. I wish I wasn't sometimes because I use it for things that I shouldn't use it for on occasion, and I know that. But
For evil.
yes, dude. Yes.
or trolling people more so.
Yeah, both. There's one and the same almost. What's up with Natalie Portman's character in this movie, man? I've seen this movie a bunch of times, but it's been a while. And so when I watched it this time, I was like, oh shit, dude. Like, is she just incredibly high strung due to the fact that her dad's not around, or is she like an autistic child or something?
It seems like she has some sort of like severe anxiety or something. Like,
yeah, that it's, I don't know that they even really explained it at all, but like, she reminded me of Bricken quite a bit with the like having to have certain things at a certain way at a certain time because she wanted, I don't want the blue one, I need the red or whatever it was. She wanted a specific barrette. She wanted her dad to see her and she wanted to look nice. Like I can totally see that in my kiddo.
Yeah, it seemed like something that you see. It's like a lot more common now. That was probably a little bit on the outside at that time. But
isn't that weird? You can watch a movie 15 times, man, and then
I've seen that. I see that in my kids a little bit too. Like they, just a lot more. I mean, there's a lot more anxiety in general.
How old do you think she was playing in this movie? 14, 15?
Oh, like 10.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
I thought it said she was like 14 or something.
Oh, really? She looked like a baby to me.
I think
right to me.
I think y'all better brace yourselves for 14. I'll just say that.
Oh, sir. No, I've already spent time crying about this. Like, dude, this little boy at Charlie's school, when she had to switch schools last semester because they just rezoned everything, and so she had to go to a new school, and it was like all of a sudden, and she was in her old school, and this kid was sitting on the floor, and he started crying, and Charlie's really empathetic, so she goes over and she's like, "Hey, why are you crying?" And he was like, "Because you're leaving," and she was like, "What?" And he gets like, "I have a huge crush on you," and then she just was like, "Okay," and I'm like, dude, she's fucking 10. Like, this boy told her. I had a guy come to me the other day and tell me in the antique mall, and he said, "Hey man, I've been trying to wrestle with myself whether or not I should tell you this, but I feel like I should." And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "I'm not gonna tell you who said this, but a little boy told your daughter that she's incredibly hot." And I was like, "Was it Zion?" And he goes, "No." And I was like, "Okay." And he goes, "I'm so glad it wasn't Zion." And he walked off. And I'm like, "Yeah, me too, because I'd fucking murder that kid." Like, but like who's talking to a little kid like this? He did clarify that it was another kid her age, but like, good grief, dude, they're little kids, man. Like,
I know.
I'm glad she's oblivious to this shit because she still is for right now. I mean, but yeah, Natalie Portman's character broke my heart in this movie, man. I felt for her. I remember one time, I don't know what age I was. Maybe I was about 10 when this happened. My mom comes in and goes, my dad, he bounced when I was about 5. And I didn't see him for probably a year. He just like left and I just never saw him for a while. And it's probably like a year. And then I remember he called the house once and was like, "Hey, I'm coming to pick y'all up for the weekend." And I got super excited because I just never got to see him. And I sat outside on the curb at my cul-de-sac from 4 o'clock until like 8 o'clock. And he never showed up. And I remember my mom being so mad that she was crying like on my behalf. And I remember her making dinner and like spilling shit all over the stove because she's like slamming pots and pans around. And she's like, "Sweetheart, are you hungry?" And like, my mom's not a real like gentle, soft person. So she was like, the fact that she was like worried about me, like I remember that very vividly. I remember being so pissed off and like not even pissed off, thinking it was me. Like, all that shit that people see on TV is real, man. I thought it was my fault. I was like, what did I do? Why doesn't he want to see me? Was it me and Kelly? Like, what do we do to him? Like, why is he not here? And I think I saw him like over the course of 3 or 4 years, maybe twice. He just never showed up. He would call and then not show up. I remember, he would just like meet this woman and go on a fucking trip with her. And like, he pulled up in a 77 Camaro, got us in the car, drove us to a bar where he had a date with a fucking bartender chick. I was probably 7 years old and my sister was 5, and he left us in the car for like 3 hours with the car running and the windows down out at this bar out in fucking outside of Houston. And like, fucking took this woman home, but with us in the car, bro. Like, it was the most. My dad was a fucking wild dude, bro. Like he was real charismatic too. He got shit. My dad, I get all my charisma and stuff, like all that shit. All of my talking abilities come from him. Like, my mom is not like that at all, but like he's able to talk his way into just about anything, man. He never hardly ever worked. Always had money. Like it was, I mean, you know, he was.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, it was weird, bro.
I was watching Jersey Shore Family Vacation just now, 2024, and I used to be into some Jersey Shore, man. I used to think all those Italian chicks were so fine, and now I see them, I'm like, holy shit! Like,
wait, you thought those girls were hot? Which ones do you think was hot?
I like Sammy quite a bit. Ron's girlfriend. She's
she's
still very pretty.
Out of all of them, she was the only one that looked like a normal-looking girl to me.
Normal person, yeah. But
she was a psycho.
Anyway, so Angelina has never met her father, right? And so she meets this dude after 38 years and is like fucking blown away. It's so sad. And then he's like, "Hey, that's a nice watch. Is that a Rolex?" And she's like, "Hey." And so she meets him and talks to him for 3 months, and he's hitting her up for money all the time. And she's like,
of course.
Look, I wanted a relationship with my dad. It's a heartbreaker, man. And it made me think of that, like when you were mentioning dad stuff. I was like, God,
dude,
he can hurt.
Bro, he would buy my affection back. Like I remember, I've always been a collector of things. Like I never had much money, so when I had the opportunity to get stuff, I collected it. Baseball cards, whatever. And movies and music. Dude, I've been collecting this stuff since I was a little kid. And I remember I was probably about 12, maybe junior high age, 6th, 7th grade, maybe. And I hadn't seen my dad in a while. And he just shows up and he picks us up and he took me to Target. And he literally goes, here. And he hands me a cart. And he goes, you got about $1,000. Dude, this was in like 1996, dude, 92 or something, man. Like $1,000 may as well have been $2,500 now, dude. It was so much money that I was like, I have $1,000 for what? And he's like, whatever you want. And like, he would do that shit to me, man. He would show back up after a year not seeing me, and then like buy me a bunch of shit. I was such a dumb kid. I'd be like, oh, my dad loves me. He's bought me a TV and some movies. But I remember buying a 13-inch color TV, a VCR, and like a fucking stack. Well, it's probably 4 VHS tapes because it was only about 1.5 feet tall. But like a whole stack of movies and a couple of CDs. I bought like a White Zombie and Bone Thugs and Harmony because I was like 12, and that was what was awesome. But like, I remember that and he lived off of this street called Ojamon, which is odd because there's a club now called 1810 Ojamon, and it's on the same road he used to live on. It fucking messes me up whenever I go over there.
Huh.
But my whole point of all this is that I understood Natalie Portman being so distraught over her father not showing up. Like, that shit'll mess a kid up bad. Like, our kids are so lucky they don't even get it, man. Like, they don't even understand how lucky they are that we care enough about them for us to not be shitheads to our spouse. Like, I love my kids so much that even if Carissa and I couldn't get along for some reason, I would be willing to like put in the work to make sure they're okay. And
right.
I mean, our dads like collectively all had very unusual upbringings in terms of like normalcy too. There was World War II and Vietnam,
for sure,
and all kinds of crazy shit going on. So, I mean, they probably didn't know what normal life was either.
I mean, I don't know. I have a weird viewpoint on like divorce and shit. Like, I don't understand why you would even marry somebody if you don't have like a pretty good. I don't guess most people marry. I just think people use marriage a little flippantly these days, which whatever is a whole different conversation. But my dad was
that's what it's all about.
It probably should be.
Prenup.
My dad was in Vietnam, and he tried to enlist whenever Desert Storm happened. I remember they were like, "Dude, you got medically discharged. You can't." He was fucked up, bro. Like the last photo that he ever took that was like an actual like photograph. He was not just some candid picture. Was him when he got his uniform tailored and shit. He was all proud of his uniform, and I just never understood that shit. I'm really anti-military, and I think a lot of it has to do with how proud he was of the military. It like he would go to the VA and just hang out with his buddies. It was the fucking weirdest thing, man. Old men, bro. I can't wait to be an old man, though. I'm gonna say really nasty shit to people. It's gonna be awesome.
Stuff like that. I don't think is as prevalent now as it was then, for sure.
Right.
Nah.
Very different times.
He had a cool tattoo, though. It was a fucking little boxer dude standing like this, and it said "Born to Raise Hell." And I was like, my mom, she definitely blames that tattoo on all the shit I've got all over me.
Yeah.
You always liked
Right.
that stupid tattoo your father had. Like, shit
Yeah,
was
probably
awesome.
easy to point the finger at him.
Maybe she sees some of the old man in you.
She definitely does. She's told me. Oh man. So, what was y'all's favorite part of the movie? Does anybody have like a favorite part? Because there's a couple of things in this movie that I fucking love, dude. And and they're stupid too. I like the dumbest shit, man. But well, like the part where Robert De Niro's in that shadow, and then it cuts to where the guy's looking at him through like whatever the green thing is. It's not heat, but it's like is it heat?
Infrared, yeah.
Infrared. So he's looking at him through that, and you just see his outline. It's like the negative image of his face. And you can just it's so eerie, dude. I'm like, oh, he knows, dude. He fucking knows you're there. And then he comes in and goes, hey, dude, we're out. And then Val Kilmer's like, dude, I'm almost there. He's like, nah. And I love that Val Kilmer's like, fuck it, bro, let's roll.
I love that scene. Yeah, it's a more low key scene in the movie, but it's so good. And just like the way that the whole movie is like Al Pacino and De Niro are like flip sides of the same coin, right? So when you get those shots, like the front shot of De Niro, and then it's like the front shot of Al Pacino, and they're just like it's the exact same shot. They're like it looks like it's cut like they're looking right at each other.
Oh yeah,
it's so cool.
I totally forgot that scene was in this movie, and I watched it this time. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And I was like, "Oh yeah!" Like it had been a while. It was awesome. That specific scene when he gets into the shadows. Like I can walk around downtown and I can get into the shadows with my camera and watch people walk by and just boop boop, and like I do that so I don't get robbed. So I can just like, I can get in the distance. I can get my shots, and nobody's gonna jack me for being a dumbass, right?
Right.
But I love doing that, man. I love just finding a little shadow. So cool.
Dude, I can sorry, go ahead, Chris.
I was like, even a little bit later in the movie when like they start tailing them all, and they lead them into that big like
I don't
know, open cargo area or whatever it was, and they flip it and turn around. That they just let them there, and De Niro's up on the top of the thing, like
he's looking at us.
And he even has a smirk. He's even got a smirk on his face. De Niro does. He's like, "Yeah, motherfucker, I got you." Like, so,
and he knows
it's all the cat and mouse stuff. It's
dude, so good, man. Like, I can tell this story because it didn't actually happen, but one of the reasons why I like that part in the movie is because in like 2010, maybe right before I got with Crystal, maybe 2011, maybe. I was living in this apartment complex and over off of Westheimer and in between Wilcrest and Kirkwood, this real bad neighborhood, right? And I had some.
Ooh, that is a bad neighborhood.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that's where a whole bunch of stuff happened over there. But like, I had a couple friends that were like real wild, and I got a phone call one day, and the guy's like, "Hey, man, I got this warehouse, and I'm doing security there, and this dude he parks this big ass like 18-wheeler there, and he's like, he opened it today, and I finally saw what was in it, and it's nothing but music equipment, like high-end mixing boards, and like he's like, I think they're putting a studio together in here. He's like, they're leaving this thing here overnight, and it's not behind the gate. And I was like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah. So then he calls me back later. He's like, hey, it's behind the gate now, but if you come over here, I'll give you the gate code. You guys can go in there. He's like, whatever you guys want to grab. And so we rent a U-Haul van, like one of the past like 12 passenger vans, like just some big white vans.
Mm-hmm.
We rent one of those. I'm telling you, dude, it was me and 4 other people. We rode up fully masked up, gloves on, and we had one dude getting into the truck. I was standing outside the van watching the freeway one way, and the other guy was watching the freeway the other way. And we were this close to getting inside, and somebody pulled into the parking lot, and one of the dudes I was with had a gun, and I had to like convince him to let's just leave this shit here. It's not worth whatever. We're going to get in trouble. We're not going to get away with this if we do it now. Somebody wasn't supposed to be here. They're here now. I'm not trying to go to prison over whatever money we're going to get in this. It was crazy, man. It felt, dude, my heart beat so fast. Like I thought I was going to have a heart attack, man. It was insane, but it was the same kind of feeling. Like I was like, dude, we have to go. Like I'm not doing this shit now. And without me, you don't have part of this because I'm part of this. And it was, I'm being as vague as I can, but it was very close to us getting a very large amount of stuff that I don't know what this stuff's worth. I mean, back then it's hundreds of thousands, I would think, based on the people that owned it. I know who owned it too. Yeah, it was. I almost probably got myself in some real fucking trouble doing that shit. Like, looking back on it, I was a pill junkie back then. I was just trying to get money for my medicine, quote unquote. So like, I was doing wild, dumb shit. But it always reminds me of that because it was so clearly the same kind of thing. Like, yo, hey, look, this shit's fucked. We gotta go. And that guy was really mad at me for like about 2 or 3 days, and then he finally came over to the house and was like, "Hey, I just want to apologize." Like, he's like, "I think you were right." And I'm like, "I know I was right, dude." I was like, "People weren't supposed to be there," and like 2 car fulls of people showed up. Like, I wasn't trying to do that shit no more. I'm out of there, dude. Like, we were cutting the lock off this fucking truck. They had like 3 of them, and one of them you had to be on top of the damn truck to get it. It was real high up. You had to do is lay on top of it, trying to cut it with fucking bolt cutters, dude. Like, what the fuck,
Damn.
dude? Oh, bro. Yeah.
Well, but it's crazy. You still had the wherewithal to just call it off, too.
Bro, I was terrified. I'm not going to even front, dude. Like, I didn't really want to do that. I was just strung out. Like, I've never been some fucking mastermind criminal, dude. I was just a shithead. And I didn't want to be in that. I just thought, well, if my friend's going to do it, I'm not going to let him do it by himself and get all his bread. I'll go with him. Like, it really was just a stupid. I should have just been like, you go do it. I don't care. But, yeah, man, that was.
Well, if I could, favorite part, my favorite part of the movie is the car scene when Al Pacino's rolling up on him and he's like hauling ass through traffic, and he gets on his little walkie. He's like, "Where am I? Where?" And they're like 300 yards center lane, and he freaking just right up on his ass, throws the lights on, pulls him over, and he's like, "How about a cup of coffee?" And it's like, okay. It's so cool.
No, that is a very, very cool part.
Yeah, it's cool.
Got Moby going in the soundtrack. That song is badass up until that bar is over. Moby starts singing and just destroys it. But for the application in that movie, it's awesome. So anyway, that's my favorite part.
I really enjoy that part too. That's probably my second favorite part.
Yeah, that's a great part, and it leads right into the diner scene, which is like one of the great scenes of the movie too. It's hard to pick a favorite. Like, there's like 10 amazing scenes in the movie, and then no bad ones.
There's really not a lot to nitpick about. You have to really be picky with this one.
So I do feel like it does start to feel long for me a little bit towards the end. I feel like personally I would probably cut the Natalie Portman stuff out.
Yeah.
And there's probably like two things that would cut it by like 15 minutes that I think would make it just a little bit cleaner. But
I'm not opposed to that.
None of it is bad. That's the thing.
Right.
Like, every scene is good. So it's like really hard to nitpick when every scene and everything is well thought out. There's a reason for it to all be there. So
yeah, it doesn't really serve the overall.
Well,
plot.
they
it's
use
like the wife, like the wife and all that stuff does, but
right. It's one extra beat that you could do without, because like you said, the wife kind of serves that purpose. You can see how his need for his job, like his focus and determination, is all he cares about is deteriorating his personal life, you know.
I felt like him running back to Natalie Portman and De Niro leaving what was her name again? Edie, leaving Edie is like showing you like that you got these two guys that are like inherently these people. Like, De Niro is going to leave her, and Al Pacino is ultimately going to go help this girl and be there for that woman. And I think it was just driving those points home more than anything, because I think both of those could have been chopped up quite a bit and save us 20 minutes or so. But I like the extra layers, and I don't normally like that extra shit. I don't normally like extra runtime, but I think I just love this movie so much I'm willing to accept that it's I like that so much about the characters, like the monastic sort of dedication to their craft, right? I wish I could be that guy where I'm just like, I am blinders on. This is absolutely what I'm doing. This is my focus. Everything else be damned. And then those everything else things kind of come in, and that's when they're like real human beings. They're real people. They're not robots.
It's such a like a level up of of Thief. Like it's taking Thief, the idea of Thief, and just like fleshing it out into this like into a whole world. Like
Right, giving it multiple thieves.
yeah, it's just like Thief is a single side to that a single facet of that story, and it just like it becomes this huge like labyrinth.
I like that it wasn't too gadgety. Like sometimes you go back to
Yeah.
the 90s. Like there's one with Robert Redford in it, like Sneakers or something. And I was trying to watch it lately. I'm like, man, this is so stupid. Like all these little gadgets and computer hacking. I was like, man,
Right.
that's so done.
Well, yeah, when you focus too much on the current technology, it like really dates it a lot.
Yup.
Yeah. But yeah, they don't too much. It's all about the characters. That's what makes it timeless.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a good point. I didn't really think about that. There's a little thing where they like hack into the bank computer thing or whatever, but yeah, it's really so short. Like it's not weird.
Hey, I'll be back in 1 second, fellas.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
All good. I've been thinking about it. I can't pick a favorite scene, but one of the great ones is like the whole last section where he goes back to kill Waingro. Just him going in there and popping him in the head is amazing. And that final chase scene through the airstrip is crazy.
Yeah, that's good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, my favorite is probably just the street shootout stuff.
The robbery, yeah.
But I mean, I really love the there's a dead man on the other end of the line.
Oh, it's so good.
Like that one's really awesome, and yeah, like him hiding in the dark and calling off that's really cool. But yeah, probably just the shootout in general in the streets is just so like
yeah, it's incredible.
So crazy.
It's hard to top that.
So apparently the drill, like the 3-shot thing, is a Michael Mann thing. Like the 2 in the chest, 1 in the head. It's called a failure drill or a Mozambique drill. It's a thing, I guess. So he likes that.
Yeah, it is a military thing.
Yeah, it's a military thing. Even if they're dead, you still put one in the cap just to make sure. No chances. My dad always used to tell me that if you ever have to shoot somebody, you pop them in the head too. You take no chances.
Yeah.
I remember seeing this movie and just being like, God, he shot him 3 times.
It's always the triple tap every time. I love it.
Yeah. The one thing we haven't really touched on either is all the the green screen nighttime city shots and all that.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, I watched the 4K, and I watch it in the dark, on the 85-inch TV. It's not an OLED TV, but it is a pretty good. It's got pretty good blacks and stuff for non-OLED.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you referring to exactly?
I mean, just every time they were outside and had a when he meets Edie for the first time and they're standing outside and they got the whole back.
Oh, that's all fake. I don't know.
Yeah, it's all green screen. At least most of it, I would imagine.
I see. There were certain shots where I could tell it looked like it was green screen, but a lot of it looked pretty real.
Man, I didn't even notice that. I didn't know that's what they were doing.
Yeah, some were better than others. So I don't know what the ratio is of real versus green screen. But
there was some side profile shots where you could tell it was like a composite background or whatever, but a lot of it looked like it was the real city in the background. That's one of the cool things about this movie too. Like you almost always you see LA in the background.
Yeah.
And it's all like the weird places that you hardly ever see in as many LA movies as we get. It's like apparently he specifically told his scouts I don't want any areas that have been shot of LA before. Like go find weird areas like the buildings that it's like on stilts on the side of a hill and like all these like weird strange.
I think it's the shot when he shoots Danny Trejo's character, right? And
his house.
They zoom out to get the flash from the thing, but like just the shot of the building with the stilts.
It's a
and all that
crazy
stuff. It's a good
shot. Yeah. And
There's
every time they're standing talking, there's like just this giant freeway in the background or like some like huge cityscape.
Yeah.
There's a weird one of Pacino like going through a Chinese district. He gets out of his car and there's all
Yes.
these neon lights behind him. It's I was like, man, that is a really weird location for him. Like he's kind of rambling down the road here, but it looked very noir, my Tokyo noir shit that I like.
Right. Most of them are real locations too. Like they just went and
Believe
found
it.
weird places. Like the where they're doing the dog fights and stuff. Like
Oh,
that was just a
so
place.
cool.
That was just a place they found. They like next to the railroad tracks. They just like stumbled on this place and they
Whole
just shot him.
compound of
Yeah.
chop shop and dog fights.
Stop wasting my motherfucking time.
Oh my dude, Al Pacino's acting in this was probably my one gripe. But I mean,
Yeah,
I
I was-
still
was
love
waiting.
it a little bit.
I was waiting because no one had mentioned Al Pacino though for a whole hour.
Yes, that was the one downside, dude. I went to a chop shop in Dallas once, man. That is the weirdest fucking thing, dude. To walk into a place and like it's real clear what they're doing because there's like big partitions that separate like a what do you call it? Like a not a typical mechanic, but like the places just do like the oil changes and stuff.
Yeah.
It was like that, but when we go around the back, there's like this extra ass building part, and it was like 7 cars that were completely tore down, and we had to go through like a coated gate to get back there, which I thought it was a junkyard. It looked like a junkyard, and then when we come in and take a right, and when I don't know, what you were saying reminded me of that shit. Sorry, it doesn't really matter much. It just reminded me of it.
So I really like Pacino in the movie, but it is a wild performance.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, he says in all the interviews that they decided that the character was a cocaine addict. I tend to think that he was just on
He
cocaine.
didn't get a good choice.
That would
But-
make a lot of sense.
He says that they said that the character we never show it in the movie, but that he chipped cocaine. And so that's why he just has these random outbursts.
His eyes are kind of bugged out a lot of times too. He's always like,
Oh, Yeah.
Yeah.
When in that one scene with where the dog fights are, like he just like bangs on the table and he's like, "Give me all you got, give me all you got." It's like it's the weirdest like random thing.
dialogue.
Yeah.
Normal people don't talk this way, sir.
Right.
Do y'all know who is the guy in the club that told him about Slick?
Tone
Do you know
Loc.
who- Yeah,
Yeah.
Tone Loc.
Yeah.
He was
yeah.
awesome in this movie.
I know him too.
Funky Cole Medina.
Yeah, he had a lot of like little cameos of stuff in the 90s, right?
He was in Ace Ventura.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
of.
yeah.
go.
Yeah, he was in a bunch of 90s stuff. Yeah. Do y'all like I know Randy's not an Al Pacino fan in general. What do you guys think about him in the movie?
Yeah, I like it. It gets to be ridiculous, but
There's times it's a
Yeah.
little much, but
yeah, it's enjoyable.
yeah. It's
I'd say I
fun.
love damn near everything else Al Pacino does.
I
know
like
he's
Al
not-
Pacino. I just
Yeah.
his big stuff isn't stuff I really care about. Like I
Yeah.
absolutely cannot stand Scarface. That movie sucks, and I'm not a big Godfather guy. But I like a lot of his other stuff. I liked
What about
Dog Day
Carlito's
Afternoon.
Way?
Carlito's Way is fantastic.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Dog Day Afternoon's really good. Cruising was good.
Cruising.
I actually don't think he's very good in Cruising.
I just like the movie. I don't remember.
I know. I think it's a good movie, but
I don't remember his like specific acting in it. I just remember I liked the movie.
Friedkin also said he's a terrible actor.
One for the money,
Scent of a Woman was pretty good. I like
Scent
Devil's
of a
Advocate
Woman.
Oh
too.
my god!
two for the money. Yeah, the two for the money. I think is the Matthew McConaughey gambling.
Oh, that's
bookie
a
one.
pretty good movie.
Yeah.
I like
That's good.
Devil's Advocate. That was a good
I
movie.
was about to say Devil's Advocate. He's unhinged in that,
It's
but it's so much
more
fun.
cocaine.
That's a fucking heavy ass movie though. Like this dude is cursed, and you
Yeah.
watch it and you're just like, God, this guy is in bad shape.
Bro, I haven't seen that
That's
in
a
a
great
long time.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
great
it's-
movie.
same here.
That's on my podcast list. So
Oh, I would be happy to do that.
I
It's
actually,
deep in the list though.
yeah, I've almost brought that. Oh no, I kind of put that in like Ninth Gate, kind of similarly
Oh
together.
no, it's way better than Ninth Gate.
Yeah, they're very different movies, but I don't know.
They're both that
90s
religious, like
90s religious devils, whatever.
Right.
what's the Schwarzenegger one? He's got one too. End of Days.
End of Days.
Yeah. Dude, you know what's like a low-key deep cut Schwarzenegger flick that's awesome is that movie Maggie.
Oh, the zombie movie? Yeah.
Yeah, that movie's badass, dude. I've seen it like 3 times.
Never watched that.
That was after his governor run, right?
Yeah.
And he's older.
Dude, it came so far out of left field when I watched it. I didn't realize it was like that kind of movie. I just saw, oh, a Schwarzenegger movie. I'm trying to go to bed. I'll put this on. And I watched the whole damn movie. I was like, oh, come on. But it's really good. Really good movie.
Yeah. Well, we should probably wrap it up. We've gone an hour and 10 minutes on Heat. So, Chris.
Appropriate length for a movie that long.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, you can, there's so much you can talk about it forever. Your week, Chris, what are we watching?
So yeah, similarly to Randy's Heat pick, like I've been kind of wanting to pick something, I don't know, something we're all familiar with, something hopefully we haven't watched in a while, and it's not my favorite of the directors, and I've been wanting to rewatch it. Scanners.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Cronenberg. Okay.
Yeah, I think we do Scanners. I know we talked about a lot of Cronenberg, probably maybe in the early days, but I don't know. Did we specifically do Scanners?
It was before Clay joined, and we were kind of just. It was the like early COVID days where we were just like watching stuff and talking about whatever we watched.
Yeah.
I think, and I was on a Cronenberg kick, and you kind of hopped on as well, and we were just watching all the Cronenberg stuff. Yeah.
I didn't remember if we ever did a specific Scanners episode or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure we've all watched.
I think we talked about it for like 5 minutes, and we were both like, "Yeah, it's all right,"
Yeah.
But yeah, I've only watched it the one time.
Okay.
I haven't seen it, and I can't even remember really watching it. So I'd be glad to watch Cronenberg. Actually, it was on my list because Cronenberg's the man. So
Yeah.
It just like I mean, it's one of his more, I guess, like famous with the head exploding scene and all that stuff.
Right.
I don't know if it's one of his better like received, reviewed films. So.
Right. I think it kind of got him on the map a little bit. To do, but like it was like right before Videodrome, so kind of got him on the map, and it was famous for the body horror stuff, but not as well liked as The Fly and stuff like that. So cool.
Yeah, I mean, watch a ton of stuff since I last watched that, so time for a revisit.
Yeah, no, cool. Sounds good.
Anybody watch anything interesting this week besides Heat?
Watched True Detective season 2. I don't know about interesting. It's a real struggle.
I watched a couple of things. I watched Bad Moon with Parker, which was fucking awesome. And then I watched
that's a good one.
Yeah, I love that movie. And I watched My Bloody Valentine thinking it was a different movie. And then I was like, what is going on in this movie? And then I was like, I'm not watching the wrong movie, but it's awesome. There's a bunch of tits. And so I watched it. And then
the original or the
no, there's like so Valentine is what I thought I was watching, which is like the remake in the early 2000s. That's what I thought I was watching, but it's called My Bloody Valentine, and it's like let's see, what year is this movie coming from? It's got to be 80s, I would think. Maybe not. God damn it! Why is it?
The guy with the minor guy, right?
Yeah. But like
I've seen that.
But there's that remake that I thought I was watching the remake of, I guess. I don't know.
There's My Bloody Valentine, like 3D or something.
Yeah,
early 2000s movie.
Well, no, I think that's what this was, because it had like 3D, very clear 3D shit they were trying to do with it.
Oh, okay. You watched
it. It was super silly. But I also watched one last night that was really long, and I couldn't stop watching it, and I was really pissed off because when it was done, I looked at the clock and it was 3:48 this morning.
Whoa.
Yes, dude. It's called Rebel Ridge. I feel like people have talked about that movie a little bit.
I brought it up. Yeah.
Okay. So, god damn, dude. I fucking hate people. Like, I've seen people behave like that. Speaking about cops, like, I know that kind of behavior is real, and it bothers me. Anyways,
Yeah, and all the asset seizure stuff, that's real shit.
That
Yeah.
was like one of your top 5 of the year or something, wasn't it?
No, it was in my
Top
top
10?
10. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so-
that must be why I knew. Okay, because when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, somebody says
Yeah.
about this." I thought it might have been you.
Randy, that's the director of Green Room.
That's right. That's what actually made me hit play. It
Yeah.
was saying that on the thing when I was watching a trailer. But like, I thought, oh, this looks like a Jack Reacher-esque movie. It might be a fun, stupid action. I can fall asleep to watching it. No, dude.
It's
within like 20 minutes, I was wrapped up in it. I was like, what's up with this poor guy? This guy's getting fucked every turn.
yeah. It's got like the First Blood kind of premise.
Oh,
but
very
it's-
First Blood. Yes.
But it's more like Michael
Ethical.
Clayton or something. Like it's
Well, yeah, it's like
more of the-
First Blood mixed with Jack Reacher, Michael Clayton.
Yeah. This is more of the political thriller aspect to it.
Well, should I spoil something?
I don't think
He
Chris
doesn't
has seen
kill
it.
anybody.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I've seen it.
Anyway.
I'm not opposed to watching it. I just
Well, it's
No.
really long, but
Never got
I thought it was a pretty great movie, man. Like I don't know how high I'd rank it as far as like a top 10 list, but I thoroughly enjoyed watching that. The only drawback I have is the length of it, but it kind of needs it all because there's not a lot you could just cut out of it. It goes pretty quick. Like it's long, but it's paced very well.
Yeah. It's like 220 or something.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
little long.
Little
but it's
long.
good.
But
Really
yeah,
good.
man, I'm glad I
kinda-
watched it.
I think the ending doesn't quite like 100% land, but it's good. It's really good.
Yeah, the ending could use a little work, but I don't know what else. This was more about the journey than the destination for me.
The cops kind of just like give up at the end a little bit, but
It's yeah,
not to
interesting
spoil.
movie.
But
Like
Don Johnson, awesome.
Oh, dude, no, he's a piece of shit in that movie. It's worth watching just for him. But yeah, dude, there's a where's that girl from? She's in something else, dude. I don't know what she's in, but I know her from somewhere. But oh man, I felt so bad for her, dude. Anyways, yeah, great movie, Chris. If you get a chance to watch it, you should check it out. It's long, so you may have to do it in 2 sittings, but
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. Just never got around to it. It was Netflix, right? It was just
Yeah, it's worth watching.
what is this girl's name? Anna Sophia Robb. What else is she in?
name rings a bell.
Does it? Yeah,
Only-
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't seen her before. Only other thing I watched this week was the new Shudder movie called The Dead Thing. It's directed by a guy that I've listened to on podcasts for like years and years. It's his first movie, and it's like sort of this. It's about this girl who's on this dating app. It's kind of basically like what do you call it? Swipe right.
Yeah.
Tinder.
Twin Tinder. And she's meeting men and stuff, and then she ends up it's kind of the whole plot, but she basically meets a ghost. Like one of the guys she
Nice.
meets is a ghost, and it's starts getting haunted by this guy that she meets, and it's a kind of dreamy and
Okay.
but it's
What's it
it's
called
pretty
again?
cool. The Dead Thing. It just hit Shudder this past week.
I just
It's-
put it on my watch list because
it's-
anything on Shudder I'm willing to watch.
It's a little it's a vibey movie. It might be less your
Okay,
thing,
vibe.
Randy, but
Okay.
as a first feature, I think it's pretty solid.
Oh, how did I forget that I watched Hard Eyes, dude? Shout out Josh Rubin. That guy was super cool.
Nice. Yeah.
And he did a little cameo in it, which I thought was hilarious. I literally clapped. I was in there by myself, so I didn't have to worry about bothering anybody. But I went and watched it on a weekday. I think I've resurrected my desire to go to a theater by trying out a Thursday, like 12 noon by myself. It was way better than the last 4 or 5 movie experiences that I've had. But
There you go.
dude, shout out to Hard Eyes for being exactly what you think it is going to be. Shamelessly, doesn't take itself too seriously. It's hella fun to watch. It's like, hey, if you want a slasher movie, here's one. Oh, you want a rom-com? Here's one. Oh, it's the same movie. It's like, it's super cheesy and corny, and I loved every minute of it. I loved that movie, dude. I'm buying it when it comes out for sure. It'll be a good date night flick to watch with your wife that's like kind of mindless. It's yeah,
Okay.
man.
That's one I wouldn't mind watching, but more of like a
whenever it comes.
Whenever
yeah.
it hits Hulu or whatever.
Not trying to put a bunch of effort into it.
Yeah, it's just I didn't really like his last movie that much.
Which one?
The I don't know, what was it? The
werewolf
werewolf,
something?
the werewolf movie.
What? Oh, I love that
Yeah,
movie.
I don't know. I don't vibe with his sense of humor. I think.
Okay, I can see that though, because I do, and I don't I'm not super surprised, but I like well, it's had that AT&T gal in it, which I'll pretty much watch anything she's in.
Right.
Yeah, man, that movie was pretty cool, and I liked his first one had a young lady from she plays one of the antagonists in The Boys, but she was super good in that one too. Where it's called Scare Me. They just tell stories, but it's like really well made, low budget.
Right.
But
I don't think I've ever watched that one. But
that I think you like that one probably better than
really,
yeah.
okay.
It's plus the girl in the movie. She's such a I don't know the word, man. Kind of a bitch, but it's kind of hilarious. Like I don't know. I think you might dig her character a little bit. But yeah, I like him, and I just like that he was really nice to me when he didn't have any reason to be, and so I'm just kind of a champion of his stuff at this point.
No, he seems like a cool guy for sure.
Yeah, he's funny. Like in real life, he does a lot of like sketch comedy stuff and stuff like that.
For sure. All right, well, we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, I don't have
Good
anything
discussion, guys.
else. I didn't watch anything else.
Didn't watch anything else? Okay.
No.
All right. Well, good discussion. That was fun. Always good to talk Heat.
Yeah.
All right. Next week, Scanners. See you guys later.